Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking through a couple player props I like on Prizepicks for today's MLB slate on Monday, July the 29th. I think we have 10 MLB games tonight. We do have a doubleheader that's a part of the slate, but we got 10 games. It's a relatively big slate for Monday. I've got two early player props that I do like for tonight that we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to share why I like these plays like we always do. Now, before we get started, make sure you guys hit that like button down below if you do enjoy these Prizepicks videos. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to Prizepicks, if you don't have a Prizepicks account, you can sign up linked down below in the description, or just make sure to use that promo code NOAH. When you sign up for Prizepicks, you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. And also, you guys can check out Sleeper, linked down below in the description, or again, just use that promo code NOAH over on Sleeper. Get your first deposit matched up to $100. And if you don't know what Sleeper is, they are a DFS pick'em app similar to Prizepicks, where you're just picking more or less on player projections. You're building out your entry. You can make up to an 8-pick entry on Sleeper, and you can win up to 100x your money. So if that is something that interests you, if you guys do want to check out Sleeper, again, use that promo code NOAH. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100. But yeah, we got some props to talk about for Monday, guys. Let's go ahead and break them down. We did not make a video for Sunday. Typically, don't make videos for Sunday for MLB because pretty much all the games start early. And since I make my videos the morning of, it doesn't make a lot of sense to post a video the morning of when all the games start early in the day. So I try typically don't make videos Sunday, but try and get videos up Monday through Friday. Sometimes on Saturdays as well. We did give out 2 plays Saturday. Thought we were going to hit both of our plays Saturday. We did hit one of the 2 plays, but Aaron Savale over 16.5 pitching outs, we lost by the hook. Savale got into the 6th inning. He got 1 out and then gave up a hit. And then after he gave up that hit, they pulled him before he could face the next batter, and he finished with 16 pitching outs when we had over 16.5. So that's just kind of how it's been going for me lately in MLB. But we're going to stick to it, man. We're going to continue to pump out the plays, give you guys good information, try and give you guys the analysis behind why I'm taking all the plays that I do, and hopefully we'll start to see some more wins in the future, because it's been a lot of losses lately. But for Monday, I got 2 props, and let's go ahead and break down these plays and why I like them. So first prop we're going to take a look at is going to be a strikeout prop, and I'm looking at Tanner Bybee, 5.5 strikeouts, and I do like the over here, more than 5.5 strikeouts for Tanner Bybee. And let's talk through this prop and why I like this one. So if you look at Bybee's recent games, it's a lot of up and down. Only had 3 Ks in a tough matchup against Kansas City, a low strikeout team, but then had 6 against the Giants, had 8 Ks against Detroit, which is today's matchup. And then in a tough matchup for strikeouts, only got 3 Ks against the Padres. Last start against Detroit, went under this line, did have 4 Ks. But if you actually look last start, Bybee, he had 4 Ks through 5 innings, but then he was pulled at 67 pitches because he experienced some cramping. So he actually got pulled out of his start early last game due to cramping. There's obviously no reports of him being injured today. He's full go. He's expected to make this start with no limitations. Looks like that was kind of just a precautionary thing to pull him from that start last game. So I would expect Bybee to get back to throwing his normal 85 to 95 pitches. I mean, he's been able to go pretty deep into games this season. Like if you look at his pitch count lately, he threw 102 pitches against San Diego. The start before he faced Detroit, not his last start, but the start before that one when he faced Detroit, he threw 109 pitches, 99 against the Giants, 89 against Kansas City, 96 against Baltimore. So him throwing 67 pitches last game was definitely not something we should expect to happen again. That's the fewest amount of pitches he's thrown in any start of the season. Like I said, he experienced some cramping last start. They were cautious with him, pulled him out of the game. Doesn't look like that's gonna keep him limited today. He should be full go, and I think it's a pretty good matchup for Bybee against the Tigers. Bybee has already faced the Tigers, I think, like 3 times this season. So he faced them back on May 8th, had 5 Ks in only 4 innings. That was a start where he did struggle, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, but he was still able to get 5 Ks in only 4 innings. And then he faced Detroit again and had 8 Ks in 7 innings. And then obviously his last start against Detroit, only 4 Ks through 5 innings, but again was pulled from that start early. Had Bybee not been pulled from that start early, he probably would have pitched at least maybe another inning or 2. I mean, he was only at 67 pitches, so he definitely could have pitched another inning or 2 last start. And if that would have happened, who knows? Maybe he would have gotten 6 Ks. But I definitely think this line. I think this line actually it opened at 6.5 in his last start against Detroit. It got bumped down to 6. It's at 5.5 today. I like the over on 5.5. I feel like this is a little bit of overreaction to last start where, again, he did go under but got pulled early. Bobby's a pitcher with good strikeout stuff. He's got a K rate over 27% this season. He's also a pitcher that can get swings and misses. He can get chases. His whiff rate is above average as well, 26.5%. And this is a Detroit team that will strike out. The Tigers have been pretty much a high strikeout team all season. They're top 10 in K rate this year. They actually have the 7th highest strikeout rate against right-handed pitching. It also helps that Detroit is without Riley Green right now, who's by far their best hitter. He's also a hitter that doesn't strike out too much. So I think this is a really good matchup for Bobby. I think he can get us 6 Ks here. He's been pitching well lately. He's gotten at least 6 Ks in 9 out of his last 12 starts. And if you look at the starts where he went under, obviously he went under last start in a matchup, a good matchup, but a matchup where he got pulled early. And then he went under against the Padres, who have the lowest K rate against right-handed pitching. And then he went under against Kansas City, another team that has a very low K rate against right-handed pitching this season. But yeah, 9 out of his last 12 starts, he's been able to get at least 6 Ks. Like the matchup here for Bobby. Expect him to bounce back after his last start where, again, got pulled early. Don't expect that to limit him here. Should be full go. Like the matchup a lot for him, and I like his chances of getting 6 Ks here in a matchup that, again, is one that presents upside for strikeouts. So that's the first prop I like for tonight. And then the other prop that I like is a pitcher fantasy score. And the pitcher fantasy score that I do like here is Nathan Eovaldi. We're going to take him for more than 30.5 pitcher fantasy score. And let's talk through this prop on Eovaldi and why I like this one. So if you look at Eovaldi's game log lately, he's gone over this line in 4 out of his last 5 starts. Been pitching well lately. Did really struggle against Baltimore, but we'll give him a pass there. Baltimore is a really good offense. They've been one of the best offenses in the league this season. But Eovaldi's a really good pitcher. He's a really talented pitcher. He's got good strikeout stuff. So he's not only able to get strikeouts, but he's also able to get a lot of ground balls, a lot of soft contact. Like if you look at his ground ball percentage, 50.3% ground ball percentage this season. That's 83rd percentile. So he's able to get a lot of ground balls. He's able to get a lot of soft contact. And if you look at his strikeout stuff, 88th percentile in chase rate, so he's able to get a lot of swings and misses. His K rate ranks above league average, 24.6%. His whiff rate ranks above league average, 27.7%. And if you look at the matchup here against the Cardinals, now the Cardinals, they're not the worst offense by any means. They've kind of been just like a league average offense this season. But the Cardinals do strike out more against right-handed pitching than they do left-handed pitching. If you look at the Cardinals this season versus left-handed pitching, they do rank, I think, like bottom 5 in K rate against lefties. However, against right-handed pitching, they have an above-average strikeout rate, 23.1% K rate versus right-handed pitching for the season. And if we look over the last 30 days, the Cardinals still have a relatively high K rate, over 21% over the last 30 days against right-handed pitching. So this Cardinals offense will strike out against right-handed pitching. They're not the scariest lineup to face. And if we look at Eovaldi's, if we just kind of look at his props for today and what the books are projecting him for. So he's projected for 5 strikeouts. He's projected to go over 17.5 pitching outs. Like if you look at sportsbook odds, he's heavily favored. I think on Pinnacle right now, Eovaldi is minus 207 to go over 17.5 pitching outs. And then if you look at his earned runs allowed prop, that line is set at 2.5. If you look at the sportsbook odds, though, on that earned runs allowed prop, he is currently minus 156 to go under 2.5 earned runs allowed. So Eovaldi is heavily favored to go 6 innings. He's heavily favored to go under 2.5 earned runs allowed, and he's projected to get 5 strikeouts. Like his strikeout prop on Pinnacle right now is set at 4.5, but it's minus 202 towards the over. So sportsbooks are heavily favoring the over on 4.5 strikeouts for Eovaldi. Obviously, Prizepicks has bumped his strikeout prop up to 5. Honestly, I kind of like that as well. If you want to take that too, I like over 5 strikeouts for Eovaldi. I think if Eovaldi is able to go over fantasy score, he probably goes over strikeouts as well. I could definitely see a scenario, though, where maybe he doesn't go over fantasy score, but still goes over 5 strikeouts. Could also see a scenario where he goes over fantasy score, or he goes over fantasy score, but doesn't go over strikeouts. Could see a scenario where he gets like 6 or 7 strikeouts, but doesn't go over fantasy. But in order for that to happen, he would have to give up like 3-4 runs. And like I said, he's heavily favored to give up under 2.5 runs in this start. So I think I like fantasy score a little bit more for Eovaldi here. But I like both these props. More than 30.5 fantasy score, more than 5 strikeouts. I just think the matchup here is not the scariest against the Cardinals. Eovaldi's pitched really well this season. He has pitched a little bit worse on the road, which I think concerns me a little bit. Obviously, the start will be on the road. But like if you look at his starts this season on the road, and if you look at when he's gone under this line, So he's had 6 starts on the road this season. But like if you look at these matchups, he's had to face the Astros, the Brewers, Seattle, which is a good matchup, Atlanta, Houston, and Tampa Bay. So he's pretty much had four of his six road matchups have been very tough against Houston twice, Atlanta, and Milwaukee. I know Atlanta's not been as good offensively this season, but they're still a good lineup. Milwaukee's been good offensively, especially against right-handed pitching. And obviously we know the Astros are a really good offense. So, I get it that Eovaldi has struggled on the road this season, but if you look more into the matchups he's had on the road, it kind of makes sense to see why he struggled so much because he's had some really tough matchups. I don't think this matchup is nearly as tough as some of the other road matchups he's had this season. And we've talked about the Cardinals, their willingness to strike out against right-handed pitching. I think this is a spot where Eovaldi does have some upside here. And if we can get, if we get 6 innings, 5 Ks, 2 runs allowed, that's going to be 31 fantasy score right there when you factor in how pitcher fantasy score is calculated with the quality start and stuff. If you give Eovaldi a quality start here, 6 innings, 5 Ks, 2 earned runs, that's 31 fantasy score. That would put him over this line. And I'm sure there's plenty of ways that he could, go over this fantasy score without getting 6 innings, 5 Ks, 2 runs. Like he could go 7 innings with 3 Ks and no runs allowed. That would still be 31 fantasy score. So there's just a lot of ways we can get Eovaldi to go over this fantasy score line. I think this line maybe is a point or two too low. I do like this over for Nathan Eovaldi today. So these are going to be our 2 props for Monday, guys. 2 early plays I'm liking for this slate. Tanner Bybee, more than 5.5 strikeouts, and Nathan Eovaldi, more than 30.5 pitcher fantasy score. If you guys are going to tell me on these 2 plays, let's hit both these plays today. Let's make some money on this slate. As always, guys, appreciate you watching these Prizepicks videos. Make sure you hit that like button down below. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And again, if you guys are new to Prizepicks, if you don't have a Prizepicks account, make an account, use that promo code NOAH when you sign up, and you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. But good luck tonight, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, we'll see you in the next video.